Hey guys, welcome back to episode 7 of the ForgeServ Let's Play. Getting started here by making 2 redstone receivers and a redstone transmitter to make an auto shutoff for my Botania mana creation. So we're just going to toss them down, and today's project is to get a mob farm started. So I'm going to start here in just a few minutes by getting some netherwart planted down in our auto farm. I'm just going to take this little quadrant of the field over here and replace it with soul sand so that I can put down the netherwart and go ahead and have some automation for it. Now, I will say this, I set up the netherwart without actually planning on using it for the nutrient distillation, but then actually ended up using it for the nutrient distillation not very long after, but you can tell that that wasn't my original plan because I actually set up the original setup with sugar. So before we get started with any of that, now that we've got the netherwart automatically being farmed, I want to go ahead and give it its own storage drawer and make sure that the storage drawer automatically voids excesses. Just to avoid having any issues. So let me pick a drawer. I'm probably going to pick the lower right one. And go ahead and slap the void upgrade on it. And get going. So I did not configure this corner yet, so now we have it locked in. It used up the last stack last time I set it up. So this way it'll stay with that corner, with that the way it is. So I want to set up a pair of Enderlink chests here with a custom set of colors and of course my usual diamond setup. That way I can easily transport everything up to where I want to have my vat running. So I'm just going to choose cyan, green, and white. Slap a diamond on them, of course, as I usually do. And grab some rotten flesh to export and some sugar to export. I've got a crafter with literally only one recipe at this point in the video. Or at this point in the progression, I should say. The video stays the same. And so we're going to have it exporting sugar and rotten flesh with a crafting upgrade so that it knows how to craft it. And once we get that set up, you'll see our Enderlink chest should fill up with the rotten flesh. Well, I didn't ever show it, but here you go. I'm going to go ahead and get these 2 ender tanks placed down and recolored as well, because I forgot to make the green wool that I needed to make for this part. Put diamonds on these as well, and this gives us a custom frequency that I'm going to use exclusively for nutrient distillation. So now that that's all said and done, we'll go ahead and make our vat and our 2 sets of reservoirs, so 4 reservoir blocks in total, so that we can set up an infinite water pool, as well as of course, our nutrient distillation creation. So you can see we're already running low on RF. I resolved this later in or in a few episodes from now, but it's a bit of a tricky situation, honestly, my whole RF position right now. So just wanted to kind of take a look and envision what I could here, and I think what I'm going to do is have it output into the tank above, and then input everything I possibly can into the bottom, and that actually leaves for a lot of space and makes it look really clean on the first floor. I actually ended up moving this down a floor later down the line, but that was something I chose to do because I used yet another vat, and I didn't want to have a huge vat system right in the central floor of my area. I imagine maybe someday I'll set up some chisel and bits like pixel seating or something out here. I'm not really sure, to be honest. So let's get the conduits set up. We want to run a power line first. We already got one going all the way across, but I wanted to show the final stages. I want to replace that block behind there too, just to make sure it looks nice, because I'm not going to use a facade since the connected textures won't work right. We'll go ahead and get the reservoir put down too. I always have a hard time getting the reservoirs to fill right, because I forget that if I fill in one spot, I can't fill in that spot again. So we'll go ahead and get the reservoir hooked up to input the water into the vat. We'll just set to extract always on. And you'll see that it's going to start filling up our vat nicely. This is actually a very good way of keeping your water filled around in case you don't have other means of doing so. Extra utilities is a good way too, and we have extra utilities, but I just like using the vat. I'm trying to go for a kind of Ender IO-esque feel. We'll get the ender chest put down. You can see all that stuff was exporting like I promised, and we're going to go ahead and have it piping out and into the bottom of our vat, which should now be running. Yep, like I said, now it's running. Our nutrient distillation is in there, and you can see that in Wayla, it says that. And I'm just taking a look at these new buttons that they added to the vat here in the most recent builds of Ender IO. And this was where I looked and realized that netherwart was actually a better catalyst than sugarcane was. Or than sugar was, rather, and so that's why I decided after the fact to go back and change everything to run on netherwart, since I was automatically farming it. That'll give us a 1.5 modifier, both with the rotten flesh and the wart. Pretty cool stuff. Thanks to my warping around with the ender, I forget to take the elevator sometimes, so it's a good thing you can call it down to your level. So I just beam back here, I guess, warp back here and set this up to properly configure netherwart and go ahead and take out sugar and reclaim that crafting upgrade. So I need to go catch a zombie so that I can make everything I need for a, you guessed it, Killer Joe. Get an ender, and I want to enchant it up really nicely. We end up with Unbreaking 3, Sharpness 3, Looting 3, and Mending 1. And we have the config enabled such that mending on a sword inside the Killer Joe does get repaired. Kind of overpowered, I guess you could say, but just a matter of opinion, I guess. I want to go ahead and get a pair of ender tanks too. That the green lime green ender tank frequency is for liquid XP, so we're going to go ahead and pipe that into our experience obelisk and go ahead and have this set to extract always active. Grab my Yeta wrench to make sure everything's set up right. I like to make sure that the insert mode is completely non-negotiated and make sure that's pulled. We'll go ahead and run over back to the house and grab ourselves a conduit facade, though. That'll be pretty important. Just to keep a nice aesthetic. I really love conduit facades, if you haven't noticed. I've, on previous servers, built whole houses out of them. So here's our Killer Joe with the nutrient. We're going to go and put our drop of evil inside of this little mob farm that I've made. It's exactly the maximum size of the Killer Joe, and it's got cursed earth for the killing, or for the spawning mechanism. Really cool stuff. Like I said, the ender gets repaired by mending. And so, with our netherwart and with all these mobs coming in, I want to make sure with all the mobs and all the drops that we can store them, but we can also void the excess. So I'm just going to make sure that all the important stuff has a void upgrade on it. I went through later on and added spider eyes and a few other miscellaneous mob drops and added either custom exports or whatnot. So at this point I'm going to start working on the roof in fast forward mode because it gets kind of boring, but this is a cool little design. It's not completely finished by the end of the video, but I didn't actually end up doing the last bit until way later, so you'll just have to see it whenever we run by it in future episodes. I want to take a moment now to just talk about the fact that I am moving this weekend. I'm recording the voiceover and editing and uploading this video on a Wednesday, and it'll be released on a Thursday. I'll be moving Saturday, and so all day Saturday I will be busy, and probably most of Sunday, but I'm hoping that either Sunday at the earliest, but definitely Monday will be my next video, assuming everything goes alright. I just do this for fun, so it's one of those things that I can't make any guarantees, but I've had some spare time here lately, and just have really enjoyed making these, to be completely honest. So we'll go ahead and get this, the rest of this house set up. Like I said, I never do finish it, but I like playing around with chisels and bits to make a nice little house. Plus the sound is really nice. At this point I just wanted to adjust a few video settings. I've been having a bit of a hard time with getting fraps to work right sometimes, but I think I finally got everything worked out completely flawlessly, which is great news. So, this roof was completely me designed. I've never done anything like this before. Like, I've done some stuff like this, but not with this block. So that'll be a new one. But like I said, we're coming up on the end of the video here, but I will hopefully have the next upload for you in the next few days, so stay tuned. I do apologize for my absence, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys soon.